Hey, what a behemoth. Fish!
Holy moly!
Every angler has a favorite time of the year to chase fish with a fly. Whether it be during the blossoming spring, during the green of summer, the colors of autumn, or during the cleansing white of winter. It merely offers a backdrop to a pursuit that has attached itself to the soul of a fly fisherman. Rod, reel, fly, and fish.
Oh, there's a big fish. Oh, big fish.
Here we go!
Big fish.
Under that log, behind that rock, or deep in the dark blue could lie the fish of a lifetime. It's in that helpless hope that the angler will march from year to year through a lifetime, hoping the next cast connects dreams and a fish of legend. Welcome to Seasons on the Fly.
Here we go.
Follow him.
Wow, big fish.
Welcome to Seasons on the Fly. I'm Greg Heister. When an angler comes to New Brunswick, Canada, it generally means Atlantic salmon. And they've been coming to this river for decades. But not just to catch an Atlantic salmon, but to catch a fish of a lifetime. And it's going to happen in this show. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Seasons on the Fly, and welcome to New Brunswick's Restigouche River.
Salmon!
All right.
Salmon got him.
All right. Go get him, Greg.
Ultimately, it's why we fish. When you swing flies, you live to feel that tug. It's a moment in time that will chain itself to your purpose and drive.
That was cool, Deering. And that fish came up, and it probably trailed my fly for 8 feet. You can hear me say, salmon, salmon, long before he grabbed the fly. And you can see the weight coming at it. And then when he grabs, and it's that simple rise, I mean, it's just one of those moments in fly fishing that keeps you coming back.
How's it feel?
He's chrome.
For most rivers, that's a good, that's a great fish. And that's that's a great start. Oh my God.
Atlantic salmon are the most storied fish in fly fishing history. The two-handed rod, traditional flies, and etiquette. The pursuit of this fish represents an early birth of this sport.
Oh, fish.
Yo, shrimp. No. Holy crap.
Iceland, Klaus Freemore, my first Atlantic to a fly, only not considered a salmon, which is a whole other show. Called a grilse, it got me off the snide. It was a great fish.
Well done.
Thanks, Klaus.
It's late May on the Restigouche River, and if these fish represent a long history in the sport, this river is Lambeau Field.
There's very few other rivers in the world that have its rich history, tradition, the size of the fish, 40s, 50s, 60s, 70-pound Atlantic salmon. The gene pool is like very few others in the world. Yep, we'll keep member. Yep. Nice. Nice.
Fish in hand.
You did great for the first one, yeah. But you had a good coach. No, you did. You really did. I was very surprised where we were. The water was quite fast, close to the bar there, the drop-off. So, okay, guys?
Yeah.
Very few small fish are in the Restigouche in late May or early June.
Look at that.
Yeah.
Man, that's what it's all about.
Let me do that. Congratulations.
Thanks.
If nothing
Mother
else-
Nature ensures the large females have enough water and time to find their way home. It's the start of the run, and it's the fish in these weeks that separate this river from many of the others in the world. 18 pounds, a few miles from saltwater, a fish to be cherished and never forgotten. Fooled by a number 8 Sugarman shrimp pattern.
Uh-oh.
Before dark, this river is about to turn
You
angry.
did see lightning?
Mother Nature wanted more water for these fish, and she provides it. When Seasons on the Fly continues, a week that could have been severed by mud and floating timber becomes a week of legend in the land of the giants.
This is it. This is what we dream about right here.
Seasons on the Fly brought to you by Loop. Join the Loop Army and help take North America by storm. And by the Restigouche River Lodge. Come fish the land of the giants. The Restigouche River, nearly 125 miles long, cutting through the provinces of Quebec and New Brunswick in Canada. Fed by the Appalachian Mountains, it was void of Europeans until the mid and late 1700s. And it wasn't long after that that the news of the size of the fish in this river got out, and anglers soon followed.
Yeah, it's really a spectacular tradition.
The Restigouche is the gateway to the Gaspé Peninsula, revered for more than a century by anglers who dreamed of a river full of enormous salmon. Much of the property on this river was sold by the Canadian government to the wealthy, and because of that, it became, and remains, very exclusive. By the mid-1900s, people like the Duke of Windsor and Joseph Pulitzer owned property here. Famed anglers like Ted Williams, Lee Wolfe, and Bing Crosby, along with many presidents and heads of states, fished here.
The early industrialists, names like the Vanderbilts and the Rockefellers, and way back, and it really was a rich man's sport to begin with. Almost every president, king, and prince has been flown into these waters and fished somewhere on the Restigouche.
Several inches of rain have fallen in this valley, fed by 5 tributaries. The Restigouche is a glimpse of what it was just hours before.
We get the one fish, my first Atlantic salmon, 18 pounds. For this river, it's not a big fish. For me, it's an enormous fish, and I am just stoked. Then the rains came, the river flooded, it got chocolate. There's little trees coming down, root balls coming down the river. We had to shut it down for a day and a half. We just had to go to the fly tying vise, make some bigger flies. This is a very traditional river, so they like to fish little doubles, little singles, but we had to make the flies bigger. You had to give the fish an opportunity to see it. And when we did that, bingo.
Fish on! And
Salmon?
salmon, it's a salmon.
Salmon.
Feels like a nice fish. Uh-oh. I maybe... Uh-oh. Oh, did you see that?
Steelheaders in the Pacific Northwest know that a muddy river is no reason not to fish. If you know where they lie, you just have to bump them in the nose with the fly.
Big early season hens come in early. Mother Nature seems to provide that they need to get the big spawners in early while we still have good water normally in the early season, so that Mother Nature takes care of the gene pool and it propagates for the next generation. Here we go, Deering. It's very rare. I mean, most salmon rivers in the world don't have even 30-pound salmon in their rivers, and the ones that do, many of them have just a few 30-pounders returning. 30-pound plus salmon, 35, 37, 38, 40-pound salmon are relatively common in the Restigouche. Oh, it's going to be close. 30.
Marking 27.
27. Not in that 30-pound club yet, but few
That's
are.
a huge salmon. What are you talking about? 30-pound club, that's a huge salmon.
That's the biggest chrome I've ever caught. I'm going to let her tell me. I'm not.
Right there.
Yep. Yep. Yep.
To the side.
Yep. She's going to go.
Yeah,
She's going. Beautiful.
there.
Woo, baby. Yeehaw! Boy, that felt nice. That was.
It wouldn't take long and the 30-pound club was joined, just upriver. Restigouche River Lodge guest Wolfgang Spores is tied into one of the giants.
Very surprised to get a fish. I was very surprised to catch a fish, but it was a big fly I was using. We called it banana, and it was working.
38 pounds, chromed, and a fish of a lifetime.
Oh, it's a 20-pounder, maybe 25, but I was not expecting a 38-pounder. That was a very big surprise, and I'm very happy for it. It's my record. I'll come back next year, that's sure.
That 30-pound salmon just seems to be an elite club of relatively few, very low percentage of salmon fishermen that have actually hooked a 30-pound plus fish and then actually got the chance to release it. And so it is kind of an exclusive club among serious salmon anglers.
That club is growing. When Seasons on the Fly continues, 2 more members of the 30-pound club and a canoe with its own pedigree. Fiddleheads, a wild vegetable that grows on the banks of the Restigouche River. Those furled fawns are full of omega-3s and omega-6s. And when you come to the Restigouche River Lodge, don't be surprised if they populate your plate next to your lobster for lunch. This river is exclusive. Your chances of fishing it were slim to none until this lodge was opened. You no longer have to be wealthy or pedigreed to fish here.
It's really given access to anglers all over the world to the Restigouche River, of which there's very, very limited access at this time. And it's really been a magical journey with the amount of people, the wonderful people we've been able to meet, the people that keep coming back now over the last couple of years, and the new people continuing to come in from all over the world.
The water is clearing and dropping by the hour, but it's still pretty chocolate.
Oftentimes there's soft takes and you have to softly set the hook. Well, all bets are off. This fish hit me like a freight train. Fish! Salmon! And it hammered me, almost like there was competition for my fly.
Holy moly!
And I knew right away, as soon as that hook is in that fish, it's woo. And you know it's a heavy fish. My rod tip high okay?
Woo.
Jump down.
How's he feel?
Okay, just start very slowly, watch. Very slowly.
Okay. He's head shaking.
Yeah.
Feel heavy?
You would do it, yeah, you know.
Yeah. Okay, and he's out.
Oh boy!
Oh boy!
Okay, tighten him down a little.
Down here. Oh, he's right here. Wow.
Oh, there he is, broke the water. With the river being dirty, you can't really get a good visual of the fish until it gets in close. And boy, when it got in close and the first time you see that tail slap,
Oh, baby. Oh, geez, this is a horse.
you're like,
Are you
oh
kidding?
my word. Now the heart really starts going boom, because now you got to get this fish in. You got to get this fish in, and you're hoping that all your knots are good. You're hoping that I've attached the fly properly, and you're hoping that it's in a spot in its mouth where it's not going to come out.
Oh, yes.
He's in the net!
Yes, he's in the net.
Oh, baby!
He's in the net. You are the man.
It's a fish of a lifetime.
32.
You know, it just takes you places when you catch a fish like that. It takes you zooming back to your childhood when you started all of this process. And at this stage in life, to be able to catch a fish that big, man, it brings back family, it brings back a lot of history, and it all comes zooming forward.
You sure? Yeah, you got it.
Oh my God.
That's one of the greatest fish in my life.
That is, it doesn't get any better than that. Good for you. You're in the 30-plus club.
Oh, my
That's an elite
God.
club.
You may have noticed the mode of transportation on this river, 25-foot canoes. The Sharp canoe, made right next door to the lodge by Douglas Sharp. His father started making them in the 1930s, just like the native people here did at one time.
Used to build them as, like the Indians, you had a ground mold. Used to shape them in the ground and take them out and plank them in.
They have cruised this river for nearly a century, and they've also fished some pretty famous people.
Bobby Orr. Yeah, bought one. Yeah, that's about the most famous person. There's been some famous people in the Sharp canoe. Arnold Schwarzkopf. You fished at Brandy Brook here. Yeah. He's been in presidents. Jimmy Carter fished on a Mattapitty out of a Sharp canoe.
Keith Vanacore has been a fly fisherman most of his life. Now a partner in this lodge, this day becomes one of the great angling days of his life.
Got one. Got one.
Fish?
Fish on. Fish on. I got a salmon. This is a salmon. It's a salmon.
Way to go.
It looked depressing. It looked like it really wasn't even fishable. our best day of fishing was in the highest, worst looking water, and because of it, all the big trophies that were coming up were just held up and actually staying in the pools.
What are you fishing, Keith?
Oh, look at that, you see him?
Oh, yeah.
You see him?
Yeah,
oh,
how
nice.
big was he?
Yeah, we were. Oh man, we were fishing high water, and sometimes high water can be deceiving. So even smaller or good-sized salmon can feel like bigger salmon. But then once you really get a feel for them, and then after 5 or 10 minutes, and you get to see them swirl or come up to the top and plane and surface, and your rod's cranked over right to your butt, and you've got a real what feels like a tuna, and he really owns you at that point.
He's in the net.
Bring the scale. In the net, that's euphoria. Oh my God. 35. One of the best parts was actually when you get a chance to handle him and grab his wrist from the guide, and as you're getting him ready to release and making sure they're okay. That's really even the best part, that you're able to handle what's basically, it's almost like you're holding history in your hand. These fish are just magnificent.
What a behemoth.
People come to the Restigouche River, like a handful of other rivers in the world, to hook big fish. And that's what the Restigouche is known for. I mean, the average fish are big, but the big fish, and there's a lot of them, are really big. 30 to 40 pounds, not uncommon. And there's still 50 to 60 pound fish coming back.
It was a busy day for the salmon logbook, tradition in this sport, a permanent account of each of these fish, the pools, the fly, the angler. Seasons on the Fly continues after this.
You can look through the salmon logbook. I'm sure 20 years ago, 30 years ago, 40 years ago, they had weeks like we had this year. It just kind of shows us, if we get out of the way of these fish and we can protect them, the genetics are still in this river. These fish will come back in large numbers, and many people who come here can catch a fish of a lifetime, just as many did this week.
I like it here. It's a special river.
Fish! Salmon! He already went a little bit. Salmon!
Holy moly!
Though, because it's the Restigouche, there's an opportunity that this fish could be 20, it could be 30, it could be 40, or even bigger. It's a special river, it's a special fish, and it was a special moment in my angling career.
Oof. It's a 20 pounder, maybe 25, but I was not expecting a 38 pounder. That was a very big surprise, and I'm very happy for it. Biggest Atlantic salmon, yeah. And the best fish in my life.
Uh-oh. I made it. To hook a 25-pound Atlantic salmon is a rare occurrence for any salmon fisherman. And then to hook one in the morning, and then to hook a 35-pounder and release both of them in the same day, 60 pounds of salmon in one day, I still haven't really, grappled with it after the years of working hard to hook and land one of those fish. Yeah, it's really, it's hard to believe.
What do you think, man? This is awesome,
This is it. Doesn't get, this is it. This is what we dream about. Right.
Whoa. What a behemoth. A fish of a lifetime. It may mean different things to different people. Could be size, could be species, could be the moment in time. When you come to the Restigouche, you walk back in time with flies of yesteryears and genetics that are powerful and lasting. Fish of a lifetime. Only here, they are fish of many lifetimes. I'm Greg Heister. I'll see you next time on Seasons on the Fly.